The moment you light a cigarette, a chemical storm is unleashed. It's a process that feels deceptively simple, a flicker of flame, a gentle inhalation. But in that single puff you draw in over 7,000 chemicals, a cocktail of poisons that begins its assault on your body with astonishing speed. Within just 10 seconds, the first wave of this chemical onslaught, led by nicotine, has already completed its journey. It travels from your lungs into your bloodstream and directly into your brain. This isn't a slow, creeping damage that takes years to manifest. It is an immediate, powerful shock to your entire system, a biological ambush that your body is forced to confront instantly. The feeling of calm or release some smokers describe is actually the first sign of this neurological hijacking. This initial rush triggers a cascade of physiological alarms throughout your body. Your adrenal glands, jolted by the nicotine, release a surge of adrenaline, the fight or flight hormone. This is your body's emergency response system, and it has been falsely activated. Your heart rate begins to accelerate dramatically, pounding faster and harder inside your chest as it prepares for a threat that doesn't exist. Simultaneously, your blood pressure starts to climb, putting immediate strain on the walls of your arteries. It's a state of high alert, forcing your cardiovascular system into an unnatural and stressful overdrive. This isn't a gentle nudge. It's a violent shove, demanding your heart work much harder than it should, for no reason other than the chemicals you've just inhaled. Alongside nicotine, another dangerous intruder gains entry: carbon monoxide. This is the very same poisonous gas that leaks from faulty boilers, and you are willingly inhaling it directly into your lungs. Carbon monoxide is incredibly effective at displacing oxygen in your red blood cells. Imagine your blood cells as delivery trucks designed to carry precious oxygen to every organ and tissue. The carbon monoxide essentially hijacks these trucks, kicking the oxygen out and taking its place. This means that with every puff, you are systematically starving your body of the vital element it needs to function, forcing your already overworked heart to pump even faster to try and compensate for the oxygen deficit. This immediate chemical warfare sets the stage for long-term devastation. The rapid spike in heart rate and blood pressure, combined with the sudden drop in blood oxygen levels, puts an immense and immediate strain on your heart and blood vessels. Your body, in its wisdom, tries to protect itself, but it is overwhelmed by the sheer toxicity of the smoke. Each cigarette smoked is a repetition of this violent cycle, a training exercise that teaches your body to exist in a state of constant stress and deprivation. It's a relentless attack that weakens your natural defenses from the very first encounter, making you more vulnerable with every single cigarette that follows. The damage doesn't wait, it begins the second the smoke touches your lips. While your brain and heart are reeling from the initial chemical shock, your lungs are on the front line, bearing the most direct and brutal part of the assault. The smoke you inhale is not a clean gas, it is a dense aerosol filled with particulate matter, the most infamous of which is tar. This sticky, black substance begins to coat the delicate tissues of your lungs immediately. Think of it like pouring a thick layer of dark molasses over a pristine pink sponge. This coating smothers the tiny air sacs called alveoli, where the critical exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide is supposed to happen. This makes it harder for your lungs to do their fundamental job: breathing. Your airways are lined with microscopic hair-like structures called cilia. These are your lungs' dedicated cleaning crew, constantly waving back and forth in a coordinated rhythm to sweep mucus, dust and trapped germs up and out of your airways. However, the chemicals in cigarette smoke, particularly substances like hydrogen cyanide and ammonia, have an immediate and paralyzing effect on them. Just one cigarette can slow their sweeping motion for several hours. This paralysis allows the toxic mucus and tar to sit and fester in your lungs instead of being cleared away. It's as if you fired your body's janitorial staff, leaving the filth to accumulate and cause damage. With the cilia out of commission, your body tries to compensate. The glands in your airways begin to produce more mucus in a desperate attempt to trap and expel the pollutants. But without the cilia to sweep it away, this extra mucus simply clogs your airways further, leading to that characteristic smoker's cough. This isn't just a minor annoyance. It is the sound of your lungs struggling to breathe, fighting a losing battle against a flood of their own making. This chronic irritation and inflammation are the first steps on the path towards serious irreversible lung diseases like chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, which includes emphysema and chronic bronchitis. The risk of cancer also begins with this first exposure. Many of the chemicals in cigarette smoke, such as benzene and formaldehyde, are known carcinogens. When they settle into your lungs with the tar, they immediately begin to damage the DNA within your lung cells. Your body has repair mechanisms to fix this kind of damage, but the sheer volume of toxins from cigarette smoke can quickly overwhelm them. Each cigarette introduces new opportunities for these genetic mutations to occur, accumulate, and eventually lead to the uncontrolled cell growth that we call cancer. The seeds of this devastating disease are sown not after years of smoking, but with the very first cigarette. The damage extends far beyond the lungs, traveling through your bloodstream, a poisoned river carrying toxins to every corner of your body. The chemicals in cigarette smoke cause your blood to thicken and become stickier, making it harder for your heart to pump it through your circulatory system. At the same time, your blood vessels react to the toxic onslaught by constricting and becoming narrower. Imagine trying to pump thick sludge through a narrowing pipe. The pressure skyrockets. This combination of thicker blood and narrower vessels is a recipe for disaster, dramatically increasing your risk of forming a blood clot. This process lays the groundwork for long-term cardiovascular disease. The toxic chemicals damage the smooth inner lining of your arteries, creating rough patches. Your body treats this damage like any other wound, and a healing process begins. However, this process involves cholesterol and other fatty substances, known as plaque, which start to build up at these damaged sites. This condition is called atherosclerosis. With each cigarette, you are effectively accelerating this plaque buildup, progressively hardening and narrowing your arteries. This makes it far more likely that a clot will get stuck, blocking blood flow to your heart and causing a heart attack, or to your brain, causing a stroke. The assault on your body is happening at a microscopic genetic level as well. The carcinogens you inhale don't just stay in the lungs, they are absorbed into your blood and distributed everywhere. These potent chemicals are capable of directly damaging your DNA, the fundamental instruction manual for every cell in your body. When the DNA in a cell is damaged, it can lead to mutations that disrupt the normal cell life cycle. This can cause cells to grow and divide uncontrollably, which is the very definition of cancer. This explains why smoking is linked to so many different types of cancer, including those of the mouth, throat, bladder, kidney, and pancreas. It's a systemic poisoning that corrupts your body's most basic building blocks. This genetic damage also has profound implications for reproduction and the health of the next generation. In men, smoking can damage the DNA in sperm, which can reduce fertility and increase the risk of miscarriage or birth defects in their children. In women, smoking harms the ovaries, can lead to earlier menopause, and makes it more difficult to conceive. If a woman smokes during pregnancy, the toxins cross the placenta and directly harm the developing fetus. This increases the risk of premature birth, low birth weight, and sudden infant death syndrome. The harm from a single cigarette can, quite literally, echo into the next generation. The internal destruction wrought by smoking eventually manifests in visible, external signs. The damage isn't just hidden away in your arteries and lungs, it writes itself across your face and body. The carbon monoxide in smoke displaces oxygen, meaning less of it reaches your skin cells. Other chemicals constrict the tiny blood vessels that supply your skin with nutrients. This starves your skin, accelerating the aging process. It breaks down collagen and elastin, the proteins that keep your skin firm and youthful, leading to premature wrinkles, particularly around the eyes and mouth. Over time, smokers often develop a dull grayish complexion, an outward sign of the oxygen deprivation happening within. The damage continues in your mouth. The tar in smoke stains your teeth, turning them yellow and eventually brown. It also creates a film that makes it easier for bacteria to thrive, leading to persistent bad breath that no amount of mints can truly hide. More seriously, smoking restricts blood flow to your gums, making them more susceptible to infection and gum disease. This can lead to swollen, bleeding gums, pain while chewing, and even tooth loss. The combination of stained teeth, unhealthy gums, and bad breath becomes a clear and often embarrassing indicator of the habit's destructive power, affecting confidence and social interactions. The cumulative effect of all this damage is a drastic reduction in both lifespan and quality of life. the science is unequivocal. Every cigarette you smoke shortens your life. But beyond the years lost, there are the years lived in poor health, struggling for breath, managing chronic pain, or battling diseases like cancer and heart disease. The habit that may have started as a choice slowly erodes your freedom, trapping you in a cycle of addiction and declining health. It's a heavy price to pay for the fleeting sensation delivered by a roll of tobacco and paper. The long-term forecast is bleak, filled with increased risks of debilitating and fatal conditions. Yet, despite this grim picture, there is incredible reason for hope. The human body has a remarkable capacity for healing, and the benefits of quitting begin almost immediately. Within just 20 minutes of your last cigarette, your heart rate and blood pressure start to return to normal. Within a day, your blood oxygen levels rise as the carbon monoxide is cleared from your system. Within a year, your risk of a heart attack is cut in half. Quitting is not easy, but it is the single most powerful step you can take to reclaim your health. Your future is not yet written. Fight for every breath, for every heartbeat, and for a longer, healthier life. Help is available, and recovery is possible.